We have some big news potentially regarding the future of Warhammer 40,000 lore, the new Dan Abnett book that we've all been talking about, we've all been waiting for, Pandemonium, Beckwin, the King in Yellow. Is it all starting to come together? And is this storyline really going to be that big that Games Workshop is literally holding it in their wings, waiting for it to release? Well, apparently so, because we have brand new information from Dan Abnett himself. He was at a book signing down in Maidenstone, and someone asked him about what is going on with Pandemonium, and he gave a response. So let's jump in, let's look at this, and let's talk about potentially what could be coming for Warhammer 40,000 in terms of massive new lore changes. Now, I have to give a spoiler warning for people who are currently reading the Eisenhorn, Ravna, and even Beckwin series. If you don't want to be spoiled, then please leave this video right now, because some of the information in this post is big spoiler thing. So please leave now. This is your first and only warning. So like I said, Dan Abnett was down in Maidenstone and he was doing a book signing, and a chap over on Reddit managed to get a bunch of books signed by him and also ask him some questions. This information was sent to me by a chap called Sir Hammerlock over on my Discord, but if you want to go and check out the actual thread itself, I've linked it in the description of this video. This is by a chap called Zigoa. Hopefully I'm saying your name right, mate, and I haven't butchered it. I'm going to put the information in the background right now, and it states, got to meet Dan Abnett and have some book signs. Actually amazing to meet him in person, really friendly, and was happy to answer all questions I had. I'm kicking myself for not taking my special editions of Prior and Pennant along. You definitely should have done that. I figured since they came signed, there'd be no point in getting them signed again, which now I regret. He does. Dan Abnett, like, sometimes crosses words out and adds, like, little fun things. He said he confirmed that he'd like to revisit The Ghost when he has the chance, but currently has other projects ongoing, having just finished one book and immediately started writing another. Now, this is the big thing here. This is all about Pandemonium, which gives us a lot of questions to go into. The delay for Pandemonium is because of the potential lore impact it's going to have on the setting, and is due to Games Workshop wanting to get the lore in the TV show totally settled first. They apparently don't want to end up having some of the potentially galaxy-shaking events of Pandemonium contradict with what they lay out in the show. That is very, very big, but we're not done yet. Again, he goes on to say he'd also love to do a follow-up of the Interceptor City, that is the dogfighting book, and has a rough outline for what that would be. And now there's a massive thing right at the bottom. Oh, and finally, Igno Peck Pandemonium. And there's a little snake emoji there. So first things first, the big thing about this is Pandemonium and the delay. Now, for those people who have been following Pandemonium ever since Dan Abnett announced what the book title was, we knew that Pandemonium was delayed. We just didn't know the reason why it was delayed by Games Workshop. Apparently, according to this person, the delay is because of Amazon, and the lore is going to be so big, it's going to be so shattering, that it could confuse people. Like, what in the Emperor's name could be so big, could be so lore shattering, which could get people confused? Maybe make it a bit rocker for the TV show. Does this confirm that they don't want to reveal something because they may be doing a certain show, aka Eisenhorn, for the TV show, and they don't really want to reveal the ending at this point? Maybe they want the seasons to go on a little bit further before they start finishing it off with the actual book Pandemonium itself, and then once the ending starts coming up, they release that, and then that is like a big brand new wave of new 40k lore going into what? Maybe 12th edition, 13th edition, something like that far along the timeline. This is absolutely massive information in regards of Warhammer 40,000 lore. And remember, the big thing that happened at the end of Pariah was that we got a massive name reveal for the King in Yellow, this elusive figure that has been mentioned throughout the Eisenhorn trilogy, the Ravenor trilogy, and now it looks like we have the identity of that figure, and it's none other than Constantine Valdor, the custode that was by the Emperor's side through the Great Crusade, the Horus Heresy, basically one of the trifecta of the Emperor leading the Imperium. It was the Emperor, Malcador, and Constantine Valdor. Now, if that does turn out to be true, that figure is Constantine Valdor, that is massive in terms of lore implications for Warhammer 40,000, because the army the Yellow King is building is a pariah army. It is literally an army of blanks to potentially combat the forces of chaos. And also in that army, it was confirmed that there was custodians, there was space marines, there was a space marine that had literal wings growing out of its back, like Sanguinis. It's like, what does all this mean? Where is this lore heading? Are we about to get a brand new faction? Are we about to get something even bigger happening in the lore? What is Constantine's plans? Is he going to join the Imperium? Is he going to fight the Imperium? Does he hate what the Imperium has become? These are the questions that are absolutely going to ripple through my head. This is what could happen in the 40k lore. Probably not going to happen, but these are the stories, the narrative routes now that are being set up incoming to Warhammer 40,000. And also adding to this, because a lot of people like to talk about timelines and stuff, because technically the storyline of Pariah takes place around 300 to 400 years before the return of Guilliman to the current setting. But what Dan Abnett has set up is something like I like to call a pocket dimension. This is where all this, well, most of it is taking place. That's where the King in Yellow is. So it's a place where time doesn't really hit. So technically, it could all be happening right now during the 10th, the 9th, the 8th edition narrative, and then maybe in 12th, 13th, 14th edition, whenever they want to put this on the table, they could come out the pocket dimension and it could all be there. It could all be waiting to go. Again, if you've read The End of the Death Part 3, The City of Dust, it all links up. Dan does this type of stuff. I call it the Abnett verse. He puts stories within his stories inside of the IP, which all links up. Characters, events, everything like this. I truly believe something massive is coming for Warhammer 40,000. And moving on to the last little comment that he put in this thing, again, I'll put up in the background right now. It states, "Oh, finally, Ignopet, Pandemonium," the little snake emoji. That is an absolute massive indication on its own. That's a full video which can really go down the theory hole. So again, people who have been reading the story, Eisenhorn is currently working with an Alpha Legion operative who calls himself Alfarius. But what that's linking to, what's that alluding to, is that that person is not, of course, Alfarius. That person is Ignopet, who was the first captain of the Alpha Legion. The last time we saw him doing any active service, he was left under the Palace of Terror during the Horus Heresy, during the Siege of Terror. I won't go into too many spoilers about what he was doing there, but big things. Now, if that character is that individual, then that is another legendary character brought to the story. And to be fair, I can see that. I can see it happening. Dan Abnett basically made the Alpha Legion what it is today. He was the one that came up with the idea of having twins and turn the Alpha Legion, again, into the Legion that we have, you know, with the Alpha Legion book that he put out. So yes, if he wants to bring Ignopet back, if he wants that guy to be the Alpha Legion character currently in the story, then that's okay with me. I think that would be an absolute massive badass reveal as well, because this character has done some massive things during the Great Crusade and the Horus Heresy. So potentially, we could be getting some massive characters returning to the 40k setting and massive storylines incoming. When I read this post, it massively excited me. I love new lore and stuff like that. I know some people like the setting to be a setting, but having new stories like this, having potential big characters returning, it gets me excited. It gets my golden plums vibrating every single day. So hopefully we'll get some more information about this. Hopefully we'll see some news on Pandemonium in the future, but it's nice to know why potentially the delay is in place. Amazon, lore, everything like that going ahead at Games Workshop. I personally think it's exciting times incoming. But that is me done for another day. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching as always, brothers. If you've got any thoughts, feedback, any theories yourself, post them down below. Does this news excite you? Do you hate this? Let me know down there and we can have a nice little chin wag as we always do. See you now. Have a great day and bye-bye.